In this video, we're going to take a look at how to use conditional formatting in Google Sheets, help improve the readability of the spreadsheet that you're using for both you and some of the other people that might be using the same collaborative sheet. Let's jump into our practice data set and take a look. Here we are in the practice data set that we've been using. We have students, courses, and some assessments. In our last video, we also added an average, so you're seeing that here as well. What we're going to look at today is how to actually add in some conditional formatting to be able to take a look at some specific colors that go with whether a student is doing well or maybe struggling on those assessments. So what we're going to do is come over and I'm going to highlight just the first few rows here. I'll show you why I do that in just a second. In this case, all of these tests happen to be out of 25, therefore the average is consistent there as well. So it makes sense to highlight all of them. However, if this test were out of 25 and then maybe this one are out of 10 and this one are out of some other number, it probably wouldn't be appropriate to do all of these at the same time. So just keep that in mind when you're thinking about your data. From here, you can right click and go down to more cell actions and conditional formatting, or you can move up to format and conditional formatting lives up there too. Either way, when you click on that, it's going to open up the sidebar with all of your information about this particular conditional format. So with assessment data, the typical rules that we use are a greater than, a less than, and then something for in between. That gives us kind of our typical red, yellow, and green colors. So let's go ahead and I'm gonna start in this case with the bottom end of that. So if you click on right here, well actually before we do that, I only highlighted a couple rows. And the reason that I did that is because I was just focused in on, I didn't want to have to scroll all the way to the bottom of my list. In this case, with this data, I happen to know that that goes all the way down to the bottom. So I'm just going to go ahead and take this off. So now I have E2 through H. And as soon as I click out of that, you'll notice it applies it to everything, which is kind of nice because if you don't want to click and drag and scroll all the way down to the bottom of maybe thousands of cells, this is a quick way to do that. Just highlight what you can see and then adjust your range in the conditional format rules section. So now let's go and take a look at our actual rules. So click on this right here where it says is not empty, and we're going to scroll down until we find, in this case, I'm looking for the less than. So go ahead and click on less than. And in this case, I want these cells to highlight, we got out of 25 points, so every 5 is going to be 20 percentage points. So for this data, I'm particularly looking at some students maybe who are below 60. So I'm going to go ahead and put less than 15. So that's that's 60% of 25. So I'm going to go ahead and select 15, and then I'm going to change the color to red. That's typically what we do for students who are struggling. And you can see as you make these changes, it updates over here. And I can go ahead and check. I can confirm that 12 and 14, 8, another 14, 13, all of these that are highlighting in red are in fact below that range. So I know that I've done it correctly. Now, one thing to keep in mind, let's go find an actual 15 here. Scrolling through, here's one right here. So 15 is not colored red. You'll notice I did less than 15. If you wanted to catch 15, there is a less than or equal to option. That wasn't what I was looking for. I'm looking for just less than, but keep that in mind, less than versus less than or equal to. So at this point, we could click done and then create another rule. However, I'm going to show you a little trick. If you scroll down to the bottom here and click add a new rule without clicking done or cancel, it's going to copy everything that you had in there. So before we had all these settings set, and so if I want to keep most of my settings and just adjust a couple, that's a quick way to do it. So click on add another rule before you click done or cancel. So now I'm in a new rule and I can adjust this one. So let's do that middle. Well, let's actually jump up. It's easier to do the bottom end and the top end. So let's do greater than, and this time I do want greater than or equal to. And let's go ahead. 80% of 25 is 20. So let's go ahead and do greater than or equal to 20. Let's select a green here. However, since our data is green, since our alternating colors is green, I'm actually going to select a blue in this case. That's maybe a little bit atypical, but we can. It just makes it a little bit easier to see the difference between the colors there. So now I've got greater than or equal to 20, and it's a blue color. We can check this. Go ahead, look. I've got 24, 23. Let's confirm with a 20. I always like to check the ends of those ranges. Scrolling through, trying to find a 20. It actually looks like, unless I'm missing it, we may not have a 20 in here. So that might be difficult to check. But if there were a 20, it should be getting caught in and colored blue as well. So there we've got, we have our red for the bottom end, we have blue for the top end. Let's come down and add another rule before clicking done or cancel, which will save all of our information there. The range is still the same. And if you scroll down to the bottom of that list, in between is an option there. 20 is there already. And then let's go ahead and I usually check this one. So if we put in a 15, and let's change the color to yellow. Let's just confirm that it is catching 15. It is in this case. However, you just need to be careful. Remember, we just did less than 15, which you just want to make sure that it's catching everything. If it weren't, you could go in and put a 14 in there just to make sure that it's catching that as well. So in between 14 and 20 should be everything 14.0000001 all the way up to 19.999, etc. So it should be catching all of that. And now that we have all of our rules in there, now let's hit done. And you can now see all three of those are listed out. So there's our less than 15, there's greater than or equal to 20, and value is between 20 and 14. So once you have this all set, and I can scroll here so we can catch the last column there as well with the averages as well. Once you have it all set, you can exit out of this side pane here. And it just gives us a really quick glance to be able to view how are our students doing. Just at a general level, I'm seeing a lot of students in the yellow over here. We've got a few reds, a few blues, but a lot of students. That gives me some really good information about what I might need to follow up on and with whom. So go ahead, try out using conditional formatting. It's a great tool to help manage the readability of our data.